All right. Okay. Good morning and welcome to another pre-market review session with the market trader. My name is Ray, the market trader. And before we begin, let's take a look at our risk disclosure. Okay. So we'll start with the risk disclosure. We'll go ahead and bear with me here, guys, as I get my disclosure. All right. Here we go. There we found it. All right. So just to remind everyone that the content that's being published and distributed by the market trader and its affiliates is to be treated as general information only. None of the information provided by the company or contained herein is intended as investment advice and offered to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, or sponsor any security, company, or fund. Use of this information contained herein is to be used at your own risk, and the company, its partners, representatives, agents, employees, contractors assume no responsibility or liability for any use or misuse of such information. We all understand that future trading does contain a fair amount of risk and is not for every investor. An investor could potentially lose all or more of their investment capital. Only risk capital money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle should be used when trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation to offer, buy, sell futures, options, or forex, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Okay, so now that we've gotten the risk disclosure out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at our financial news here. Okay, so just gonna spot check, see if everything's kind of coming across here correctly. So let's stop share here, and we'll go ahead and start our share of the. There it is. Okay, so you can see here that we have some news already has already been reported into the market. We have some Fed manufacturing numbers that have been published. We have some U.S. import prices month over month have also been reported. We have some lesser news here, although always has the potential of impacting the market. We have a number of White House briefings and Trump appearances that could have potentially moved the markets. And then we have Fed member Cook speaking here later closer to the close of the session here. So not really all that much in the way of news, although tomorrow is going to be a much, actually next couple of days, we are going to be in store for some pretty significant news over the next couple of days here. Okay. So now that we've gotten through the news here, we'll go ahead and move into our portal here and or move into our platform, I should say, and just kind of all right. Let's go ahead and move into our platform here, and we can go ahead and start with our review. Okay, so here we are. Let's go ahead and start with gold. Gold is already technically open. Okay. All right, we're going to go ahead and expand this out here, and we're going to go ahead and remove all our drawings, and we'll start with our review. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start with the daily chart. We're going to hide some of these indicators. We're going to turn off this. We're going to turn off ADR levels temporarily here, and we're going to go ahead and start with the daily chart as we normally do. It kind of just to give us a sense on a higher time frame what the market is trying to accomplish here. Okay, so you can see that gold continues to be in an uptrend. right? We're kind of in an inside day today, potentially maybe a day of range. Okay. But the trend overall, I'm sure everyone would agree, remains to the upside. Okay. So on a daily chart, we remain in an uptrend. Okay. We do have an inside day from yesterday on the upper half or upper third of this candle here that broke some structure here at around 3,200. I'm going to go ahead and mark 3,200 as an area of importance here, okay, as an area of future potential support. Would not necessarily want to see price get below 3,200 because that would be an indication that maybe price is maybe breaking down or maybe moving it further into range in this market, okay? But let's go ahead and move on to the 4-hour chart. Okay, looking at the 4-hour chart, as speaking of range, you can see that we've been in range of late. Okay, over the last, let's see, yeah, since looks like about Friday, we've been in some sort of range kind of price action in gold. Okay, so whether that's going to continue today or not, it's yet to be seen or yet to be witnessed. But nonetheless, we are starting to see a little bit of range kind of price action in the markets. All right. So moving on to the 30-minute chart. And this is where we're going to start doing a little bit of volume profile analysis here. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile from Monday. Okay. Locate that here. So we're going to go ahead and locate that. We're going to drag this across to the close right about there. And you can see that price, even in this kind of range kind of price action, is on the high end, is above value here. So again, I'm going to go ahead and mark an area of maybe of importance for me. Okay, and this area would be at the high end of value from yesterday, and that is the kind of the source of this push that we got on Monday. I guess during the Asia session. This area right here, right around 3228, would be an area of interest because that would kind of bring us back to this to the set of folks or one set of folks who brought price higher. Okay, so 3228 is certainly that level. We do see that price is below our VWAP at the moment, but we've been above and below over in the last day here. Okay, in the overnight trade, we've been kind of in this range, right? We've been above and below VWAP. All right, we're going to go ahead and draw in our anchored VWAP here, just to get a sense of where for London here. So we'll locate the London start here. That's right about here. Okay, so you can see that both prices below both our anchored and our daily VWAP. We do have kind of mixed signals, I would say. We are above value, okay, above value from Monday, but we are kind of below some of these areas that we care about both on the anchored VWAP and the daily VWAP. Okay. So this does look like maybe a little bit of a retracement of sorts in this market. I do see a little bit of a kind of a retracement pattern that could provide maybe a potential leg to the upside. But I'm gonna remain patient here. Okay, I'm gonna wait for my initial balance to establish here. We're still another candle away from our initial balance range. And I'm basically going to wait for some indication, some sort of price event that allows me to to understand what direction they would like to take the market. And I'm basically looking for something along these lines, right? I'm looking for a break of the initial balance range, and then potentially having that offer me an opportunity on the top end of initial balance where I could potentially take an execution here to the upside. Okay. That's kind of what I'm looking for at the moment. Okay. Now, assuming that we continue this kind of bearish structure here, then we'll probably come back to some of these lows, but maybe even potentially come back and close back inside a value area. And if that happens, then I would say that offers us maybe an opportunity. Oops. Let's see. That offers us maybe an opportunity to the bearish side, right? So if we get price to close below initial balance, okay, then we could use this the edge of initial balance for an opportunity, okay, along these kind of lines. I'm going to go ahead and add our ADR and ASR to this chart just to see where we are at those levels currently, okay? So there's our ADR zone. I'm going to go ahead and open up our ASR here. Okay, so we're kind of in the middle of the ranges, okay? Not really at any of sort of the edges, so we can go in either direction here, all right? We have an ADR or ASR zone here above at 32.65. We have an ASR, ADR zone here around, actually ASR here at 32.16, and then one below here around 31.88 on the daily side, okay? So right now going into the session, I would say that I remain bullish on the market. I'm going to be patient and wait for a break of initial balance to the upside before I take on any sort of execution. That would be kind of my price event, and then I would need kind of a lower time frame confirmation that I'm indeed in a move to the upside. Okay, so that's kind of what I have for gold. Let's go ahead and move on to the crude oil market. Okay, so crude oil, we'll take a look at crude oil. And again, we'll start with the daily chart here. Okay, kind of working our way through the various markets here. And you can see, unlike the gold, crude oil has been in a kind of steady structure here to the downside. I'm going to go ahead and turn off ADR and ASR here for a moment. Okay, just to kind of give us a little bit of clarity. Right. So right now we've gotten a push lower. We did get some reaction from the buyers, but we still remain in this inside this candle. Now the question is, are we building up some strength here, or are we continuing to maybe add to maybe another potential leg to the downside? Okay. Moving on to the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, again, we see that we are let's see, kind of in this range. We did get a push. We got a little bit of pullback, but we really haven't been able to make any new highs in this market. Okay, so kind of giving us an indication that we might be in some sort of range price action. I've gone ahead and drawn in an area that I would consider resistant. We've kind of reacted away from, say, 63 here on a couple of occasions and have not been able to, or managed to be able to hold above it. Okay, we kind of similar to gold. We're kind of in this range of late. Okay, so moving on to the 30-minute chart. Okay, so again, we initial balance has opened. Okay, so we have the initial balance range establishing. We've come up against an area of the range where we could see some support. Right, we've seen some support here. You can see that price has not been able to get below 60.79, right, before it started to react back to the upside. Okay, now the thing is here is that we still remain below our VWAP. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile and see where price is in relation to yesterday's trade here. Okay, so we're going to drag that across to the close here. All right, so we can see that price is inside value, again, giving us another indication or a possibility that price is going to remain in some sort of potential range here. Right now, I would say the range is 62 down to 61, right? It could be in a 1-point range throughout the day here. Okay, so let's go ahead and add our anchored VWAP to this analysis. Okay, we're going to go ahead and locate the start of London. You can see London is also, price is kind of working its way potentially above the anchor VWAP and also trying to get above VWAP. Well, if it does get above VWAP, well, again, similar to what we discussed with the gold, okay, that would probably cause us to get above our initial balance, and then could potentially offer us an opportunity to the long side. Okay, even though the market has been a little bit on more of a bearish structure, it could offer us an opportunity to the long side where we can manage our risk right around 61.40. Okay, that would be the edge of our initial balance high here. Okay, we do see that looks like volume is currently supportive of the current move. You can see that we are moving in conjunction with buy volume. Okay, volume is aligned with price at the moment. Okay, but in order to really embrace the longs, we really need to get a price above VWAP. And if we cannot get above VWAP, then I would say that we continue our move to the downside. Okay, we'll continue to use VWAP as a guide to serve us as maybe a potential continued opportunity to the downside. Right now, it does look like it wants to move higher. Okay, and we have a demand or support area that has shown that is a bit reactive around 61, 60, 60, 92. Okay, so headed into the market, although the market is a little bit in range, given the fact that we are inside initial the value area from yesterday, I'm going to be interested to see if we do indeed get a break above initial balance high, and that could potentially offer us an opportunity for an upside move in this market. All right. Now that we've gone through the crude oil and the gold, we're gonna go ahead and start to take a look at the Nasdaq. Okay, the start of the equity markets here. All right, and Nasdaq has kind of a similar look and feel to crude oil. So let's take a look at the daily, see what the daily has to offer. Okay, so let's remove some of our drawings and let's just take a look here at what the daily is offering us. We do seem to be in some sort of consolidation pattern. Okay, right here, I can see that we are kind of in a little bit of a consolidation pattern. Now, the question is this kind of a consolidation pattern going to lead to further upside? Right now, it feels that way. Because we're on the top end of this bullish candle. Okay, it feels like it wants to continue. Okay, in that upward direction. Okay, I see a lot of buying wicks. Okay, here, here, these two, right? You see a lot of buying wicks, kind of leading me to believe that there is still a fair amount of interest in this market to the upside. Moving on to the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, again, we're in this kind of consolidation range, right? We're starting to break some structure here to the upside. We pulled back to an area where it was prior support, okay? What was prior resistance now becomes supportive, okay? Around 18,262. We came down to this area and we found, again, maybe some of the same buyers that drove price higher here, okay? Now, the question is, do we remain in this area of consolidation? Or is today going to be the day where we break above? Okay, so I would say that this area of importance for the bulls is this 19,363 level. Okay, if we do manage to get above 19,363, then I would say that we maybe have the potential maybe of another leg higher. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of Fibonacci analysis on where this could potentially head. So if I take this here, do the pullback. Okay, well, we see 19,000, almost 19,700, and maybe potentially as high as 20,700 in this market, right? If this becomes an impulsive move to the upside, okay? All right, moving on to the 30-minute chart. 30-minute chart, we'll take a look at the 30-minute chart. We'll do a little bit of volume analysis here, okay? We're going to go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile here. We're going to go ahead and start with the open on Monday is right here. Drag that across to the close of Monday, right about here. And you can see here that we peaked below value on a couple of occasions, but we quickly came back into value, came back into balance. Now, 19,000 does appear to be something of an area of resistance here. Okay. I do see that we've reacted away from it, 19,000. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and draw in a little line here around 19,000, right about there. Okay, that is an area of resistance. So if we are going to move higher, obviously we need to get above 19,000 and ultimately above this top end of this channel, or not channel, but triangle pattern that I had created earlier. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and open up. Let's see, our anchored VWAP. Get a sense for where London stands on all this. So we're going to go ahead and locate London here. There it is. You can see that we were below. Okay, now we're working our way higher. We're already above our daily VWAP, working our way above our anchor VWAP from London. So it's starting to appear a bit bullish. Okay, we are well away from our average daily ranges. Go ahead and open up that average daily range. So we're kind of in the middle of the range as far as the average session and average daily ranges. So still, fair amount of distance to on either side of the market here. Okay. So again, 19,000 is kind of my marker here. We're still away about 20 minutes away from the open of the session. 19,000 is kind of my level in order for me to really participate in this market to the upside. I really need to see price get above 19,000. Okay. And then maybe I use 19,000 as an area of support for a leg higher. Okay. That's kind of my current view here, right? If I'm going to remain bullish, the market needs to show me evidence that it can move in a bullish direction. And the obvious area for me right now in a bullish direction is that it needs to get above 19,000. Now, if it does not manage to get above 19,000, potentially it will remain in a range, maybe a range that will take me from 19,000 down to, say, 18,060, maybe potentially below. Okay, because right now we are inside an area of balance or area of value. Okay, we could expect maybe the potential of maybe some range bound price action. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm seeing in the NASDAQ. Happy to entertain any questions if you have them. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and move on. We'll move on to the ES here. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the ES and then close out the session here with a review of the Dow. All right, let's take a look at the daily. Again, the daily, again, we that little triangle pattern that I was kind of talking about earlier, okay, also seems to be evident in this market as well. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and turn off my average session ranges. This looks more like a little bit of an ascending wedge kind of pattern here, right? This is kind of the pattern that I'm seeing here, ascending wedge. Again, I think there's a fair amount of interest, I would say, to the upside in this market, but we remain in this consolidation range. Now, the question still remains: what direction are we going to move? Well, we could either go in. I know that we're in consolidation. I can't say necessarily which direction it's going to come out of this consolidation pattern. Okay, but it does feel like, given the strength of this candle here, that and we haven't really been able to close too much into it, that the direction is going to be higher here. Okay, moving on to the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, again, we're similar to NASDAQ. We got a nice push that broke this resistance zone. We came back to that same zone. It became reactive, and we have reacted away from it to the upside. Okay, now the question becomes: can we get above 5,500? Can we get above 5,500? I think that's the next line in the sand in this market. We're going to go ahead and mark that in as red. Okay, can we get above 5,500? If so, that opens the door for us to maybe get to as high as 5,700 and maybe potentially back to 5,800. Okay, but the first order of business to kind of maintain this kind of structure here, because ever since we had this one little push here to the upside, we have really not been able to make any major highs here. So the question now becomes: can price get above 5,500? And if so, that could create a little bit of an opportunity for us potentially to the upside. All right, let's take a look at the 30-minute chart. Okay, again, we're about 15 minutes away from the open of the session here, so we're kind of hanging out around the edge of yesterday's initial balance range. We're going to go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile, and I suspect that we might be in some sort of area of value here. So we're going to go ahead and drag that across to the close here. Okay. And there we are, just at the edge of value, right? So if price is able to maintain above this value area low, I would say that we have a fair opportunity maybe for price to go to the other side of value here, right? Up in this range here at 54.82. But we need to see price. We need to see that price is able to break above. In this case, I would say 54.50. All right. If price is able to break above 54.50 and I guess manage to control above this level, then I would say that we have a fair chance to get to this level and maybe potentially to this 55 area, 5,500 area of resistance. We'll go ahead and open up our ADR levels. Okay. Again, similar to the NASDAQ, we are inside or maybe on the lower third of the ranges here, okay, giving us maybe some indication that we could either potentially remain in range, or if we do manage to break above again 54.50, that could offer us maybe an opportunity to the upside. We're still about again the initial balance range, so I'm going to be patient here. Initial balance range has not been established in this market yet, so we're going to go ahead and wait for this initial balance range to kind of establish before we decide on any sort of direction. Okay. All right, so that's kind of, so I guess going into the market, I would say that we are looking, I guess, a bit range bound in this market. Okay, we are kind of hovering at the edge of value here. We have a nice bullish engulfing, so I would say that it's reasonable to think that maybe we will make it to the other side of value here inside this area of range, potentially. Okay, now the question is, are we going to move into some sort of trend? If history, recent history is an indication, it doesn't appear that way. It appears that we are going to remain potentially in some sort of range price action today, but we'll have to wait for price to indicate that to us. Okay. All right. That's pretty much what I have for the ES. Let's take a peek here at the Dow. Okay. Looking at the Dow, we're going to go ahead and open up the daily. All right. So again, similar to what we were seeing on the other equity markets here. All right. We do seem to be in some sort of consolidation pattern, whether it's a triangle pattern, ascending wedge. I do see that we are in some sort of pattern here. Okay. Now the question is a flag pattern of some sort, right? Now the question is, which direction are we going to move? Right. Right now we have a very indecisive candle here, now currently developing another indecisive candle. So the question is, again, which direction is this market going to move? Is it going to follow the path of this candle and head higher? Or is this going to be an opportunity for maybe a range or a continuation move to the downside? Okay, moving on to the 4-hour chart. Okay, for our chart, again, we broke similar structure here around 39,550. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that area maybe as a potential area of support here. 39,550 is kind of my area right there. Okay, we're going to color that in green. Okay, so that's an area of support, I would say. And then we still have this 41,000 level above us that has not been breached. Okay, so we're kind of in this kind of range, 39,540, 41,000. Question is, are we going to break below? Are we going to break lower from this level? Okay, we see a lot of indecision here, right? Not really giving us any indication that they have the resources to drive price higher. So the longer we stay without making a new high, it starts to give confidence to the sellers that they'll have the resources to kind of take the market lower. Okay, moving on to the 30-minute chart. Okay, we're going to go ahead and stretch this out. Okay, kind of try to get as much context as we can here. We're going to go ahead and open up the fixed range volume profile. We're going to start with our start of the market, close of the market. You can see here, similar to the other equity markets here. Okay, we are just at just a hair above a value area low. Okay, we have our value area high above us. We're going to go ahead and add our anchored VWAP here to the start of London here, right about here. And you can see that price is below both our anchored and our daily VWAP. Okay, so that could provide us maybe an indication that we are going to potentially head lower. If I am bullish in this market, I need to see price. I need to see price get above this area here, all right, at least above, let's say 40,800. Okay, that does appear to be an area of interest. So I need to see price get above 40,000. Then again, you know, the pattern I'm going to draw here, then that would actually kind of break this pattern that I'm seeing here. Okay, if we do get above, say 40,750, that could provide us an opportunity maybe for a further upside move in this market. Okay. All right. Let's see. We're going to go ahead and add our ASR and ADR to this market. Okay. You can see that similar to the other equity markets, there is a fair amount of we're kind of a fair amount of distance to the upper end of the range here. We have 41,356 in the distance here. But the question is, are we going to be able to break out of this range? Is the market going to be satisfied with remaining in this kind of range that we've been in since the close of Monday? Okay. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and wait for this initial balance range to establish here in the next begin to establish here in the next 8 minutes. So I'm going to remain patient for that to take place. But as long as we can remain above the value area low, I feel that maybe the market has at least enough to get up to maybe the top end of this value area range, around 40,950. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm going to be looking at in the Dow. So we'll just take a quick peek through the markets here since we have some extra time. So we'll just kind of looking at this on the 30 minutes side and see how price is reacting to some of these levels we had marked. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to remove this. Okay, so we're going to be about 7 minutes away from this initial balance range establishing. So we've gotten some sellers to kind of step into this market. So this could maybe lead to maybe the second scenario that I had highlighted. Maybe that creates an opportunity for us for a leg lower in this market, assuming that we do continue to hold below our VWAP. Okay. Quickly looking at the crude oil. Okay. Oops. Crude oil continues to show signs of life that maybe it wants to head up to the higher. Okay, we're starting to break some structure here. Again, drawing my channel, you can see here with that candle, we've broken some structure here to the upside. So this seems to a little bit clearer to me that maybe there's some upside opportunity potential in crude oil today, maybe back to the highs here around 62. Okay. And then the Nasdaq we'll use as our final kind of peak at it looks like a lot like our crude oil market. Again, we're kind of at the lower end of value. Again, breaking some structure here to the upside here. Okay. Now the question is it going to be able to maintain above value and above our VWAPs to provide us maybe an opportunity with this scenario here? We get above 19,000 and come back and pull back to 19,000, offering us maybe an opportunity to the upside. Okay, so that's pretty much what I have here, guys. Again, hopefully you enjoyed the open to public pre-market review session that a session that I provide our members here on a daily basis. So if you are interested in the membership, please review the options on the portal there. Otherwise, happy to take on any sort of questions that you might have here on the markets. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and close off the session. Wishing everyone a successful trading day. And as we close every session, trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. All right, guys. Have an excellent trading day, and we'll catch up soon. You're welcome, Natalie.